All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We're talking about the Houston Rockets in today's video, coming off a season 41-41. They finished with the NBA's biggest annual wins increase margin at 19. The Houston Rockets, up until last year, man, for like the first 3 years of covering this team, right when Harden left, it's just been terrible. This Houston Rockets team is about to win 50 games this upcoming season, folks. They have probably a top 5 coach in the National Basketball Association in Ime Udoka. He also great coaches across every sport in the league. Great coaches hire other great coaches, and that's exactly what you see with Ime Udoka. I feel like that often gets under discussed, but folks, the core 7, Reed Shepherd, another lottery pick, even though you won 41 games, this team is about to take off, and they're about to reach a completely different stratosphere. Folks, here's your starting lineup most likely. Freddie Double V, Rockford's finest, Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks, Jabari Smith Jr., Alperen Sengun. Your bench has guys like Reed Shepherd, Cam Whitmore, Amin Thompson, Tari Eason, Steven Adams, and it's just such a great basketball team. But folks, before we get any further into today's video, if you enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for hopefully daily Rockets content starting now. I think actually preseason was like Nuggets, Celtics is on right now. So we have preseason basketball this weekend, and it's just good to be back. We haven't made a video on this channel in like 2 months. I apologize. We've just been focused so much on that football season on the main YouTube. But folks, to me, there's so much to be excited about this upcoming season. I want to like temper my expectations. I was reading, one of the reasons I'm making this video right now is I was just kind of perusing through a Bleacher Report article where they were doing just win-loss predictions for every team in the NBA. And for Houston, they had 44-38. And they said this: the Rockets are a climber in the West and may improve throughout the season via trade. Part of the equation will be the futures of Jalen Green and Alperen Sengun, who can extend before the season or re-sign in July. Will Houston reinvest or let one or both go? Those decisions, which could lead to a blockbuster before the deadline, will dictate the team's path, but on paper, they look like one of the top 10 teams competing for a postseason berth. And they had them finishing as 9, and then the best case scenario being the 6th seed in the West. So, it seems like every non-Houston Rocket article website I read the entire offseason has been, when's Jalen Green getting traded? Is Sengun getting traded? What move are they going to do with all of this young talent? And like, who's going to be the odd man out, right? And they're going to group those odd men out, 1 or 2 or more, with the draft picks, because they have a whole chest of treasure of draft picks. And I don't want to even get into that. I'm like, it's Jalen Green's 4th season. And to me, there's so much young talent like Reed Shepherd, Cam Whitmore, Tari Eason, Jabari Smith Jr. There's a lot of young kids who I'm hoping can take a big leap, specifically Jabari Smith Jr. And I do really desperately want to see what Amin Thompson can do in his sophomore campaign. But Jalen Green's in his 4th season. He's entering his 4th season. And to me, Jalen Green's play is going to dictate most of how the Rockets season goes. Sengun is one of the best big men. He's one of the best players in the NBA. And I think people finally began to catch on to that last season as far as non-Rocket fans go. But Jalen Green, in the last month and a half of the season, was putting up almost 30 points a game. It felt like he was putting up 30 points every other game. And if he has that level of production that we saw in the final stretch, the Rockets are easily a 50-win team. And they'll probably finish as a better than top 6 seed. But I don't mean the whole year is dictated on Jalen Green's success or lack thereof. It's just such a good team, but we don't know quite what their ceiling is. We don't even really know what their floor is. I feel like their floor is a 44-win team. Need stars to win in the NBA, and I think that superstar is Alperen Sengun. But if Jalen Green can be a star, I mean, folks, the world is the Rockets' oyster here. But outside of that, there's a lot of things to be excited about. But most of it is, kind of like that article was saying, most of it's on paper, but we want to see it because it's such a young team. But what a lot of people are forgetting are the veterans: Freddie Double V, Dylan Brooks. Now you got Steven Adams as your backup center who, missed the last season, but he's Still Steven Adams. He's one of the best rebounders in the NBA. He's one of the best offensive rebounders in the NBA. And you have the best coach, or one of the best coaches, in Ime Udoka. Reed Sheppard, in my opinion, is going to be really interesting because there's a lot of cake. There's a lot of talent and depth on this team, young and old. Aaron Holiday, Jeff Green, even getting deeper into the 12-man rotation. Reed Sheppard, I'm excited to see what he can do. I've seen a lot of skepticism from some Rocket guys that I follow on Twitter who are saying, Jalen Green, Amin Thompson, and Alperen Şengün are not going to work. But if they surround him with shooters eventually, then it will work. Reed Sheppard was one of the best shooters in college basketball. He might have been the best shooter in college basketball last season. He shot 52.1% as a freshman at Kentucky. But the important part in that sentence was he was a freshman at Kentucky. So this kid is still extremely young. But if we go back to last year, as all of us know and remember, the Rockets were bottom 10 in three-point percentage last season. Freddie Double V, Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, Jabari, Şengün. If Jalen can get that 3 to 35 plus, if Jabari's 35 plus, if Şengün can figure out a more consistent 3-point shot, I heard Ime Udoka talking about it at Media Day the other day. He's got the touch, he's got the talent. I think it just comes down to the mindset / confidence for Şengün extending the floor. If Alperen Şengün walks out this season with a 35% 3-point percentage, it's over. The Rockets, once again, will be one of the best teams in the NBA. So it's a lot of what if, hypothetical, just different situations that could go on. But at the end of the day, once again, here's 10 players on the Rockets. Freddie Double V, Jalen Green, Dillon Brooks, Jabari Smith Jr., Şengün, Reed Sheppard, Cam Whitmore, Amin Thompson, Tari Eason, Steven Adams. If even 2 of these kids take such a huge step and you won 41 last year, folks, the sky's the limit. So that's what I want to see this season. I want to see how that progression and development's going with the young kids. We can deal with trades or improvements or, trying to get to the championship level tier when it comes. But I'm sick of all these trade ideas for Jimmy Butler or, Paul George, or all these different trade ideas that I saw all summer saying, here's how the Rockets can get to that next step, because they might already be on the roster. In fact, there's a good chance they are on this roster. So I'm just really excited for the Rockets season. It's been way too long since we've made a Rockets podcast. Check it out down below. I've got it on Apple and Spotify, and we go live all the time. But like I said, I was focused way too much on the NFL this entire summer and into the fall. So we're going to be ramping up these Rocket videos as the season progresses. And that's all I have for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button, hit that sub button for hopefully daily Rockets content, a couple a week at the very minimum. But guys, most importantly, down below in the comments, give me a projected win-loss record for this Houston team, assuming this is the roster for the entire year, down below before the preseason officially begins. Have a great weekend. We'll see you very soon.